Hey YouTube, it's me, Jen, your pudgy picker.
And Kimberly.
Ooh, she sounds so fancy.
I feel fancy at the moment.
I won't even ask. And we are here for another podcast, Two Sisters.
One booth.
Or is it one sister, two booths? No, we don't
booths?
want to do that. Nobody's getting fired around
enough,
here.
no
One
five.
is enough.
Yes.
And this is podcast number 24.
Ding, ding.
And today we are going to be talking about what should I sell? It sounds like an exhausting topic, doesn't it?
And it can be, but we're going to keep it kind of narrowed down and simplified.
Simplified. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes, kiss.
So, I guess when I was kind of looking at these and taking notes, I started thinking of questions to ask. So we're going to ask you some questions.
So get out your paper and your pencil and take notes.
You will be tested. So, that is such a wide subject, and you just think of all the different answers, because we could say, well, here's what sells for us, and this is what you should sell too, and that may not fly in your area or your region.
Nope.
So we're going to ask you some questions. So what are your interests? What do you love to do, or what do you know a lot about?
Yes, because you'll automatically be able to find more things that way, because you already know what you're looking for.
And if it's something you love, or something you personally have an interest in selling, or you find fascinating in some way, it's going to be more fun.
Yep.
Certainly to do that. And I find that with my booth, as well as eBay. I've had people say, well, what do you sell? And I'll say, well, when you
Eclectic.
I say, when you go to a garage sale and you see an item and you think, ooh, and the world would buy that. I said, that's what I'm looking for.
That's for sure.
I even was a minute late on buying last summer a stuffed alligator that was like standing on its hind feet and had its paw out so you could put something in it. And I missed it by just minutes.
Oh, no.
It was $10.
You didn't tackle the person going down the driveway?
Oh, I was so mad. But the one that got away.
Yeah, literally.
An alligator, and it wasn't even alive. So think about what you know and what you love. What is your region known for? What area do you live in? Or do you live near a lake? Do you live near the ocean? Do you live near a touristy place?
Yep. Maybe things like where you live, your state bird or your state flower, or things that are well known for your area.
Yeah, like
we have a lot of covered bridges not too far from us,
Yeah, if you live in Kentucky or Texas or Montana, you might have,
steers.
more animals, bullhorns. Yeah. I mean, what do you think of when you think of your area? What type of things do you think of? Because that's what, if someone is visiting or if someone's decorating in that style locally, that's what they're going to be looking for. So you need to consider that. We, like an example for us, we live on Lake Erie. Anything lighthouses, shells, nautical themes, any of that type of item usually does really well for us. Yep. Because people associate being on Lake Erie with,
water.
Yeah, and even the shells sell, and we don't have
shells.
We don't have conch and all that stuff in our waters.
No.
We just don't.
No, a dead fish float up here and there, but
yeah. So, it's that
can't
kind
sell
of stuff.
Those.
No,
They
you wouldn't
smell.
want to do that. That would smell. So, or like we said, a tourist area. Are you, near something that people come to see? That might be something that you could keep in your booth as well. You also need to consider what kind of places are you going to be able to regularly source items at.
Yeah.
If you want to carry specific type of items, but you can't find them anywhere, and you can't find them at a good price where it's worth reselling, then you might get yourself a little stuck. So you want to make sure that you are sourcing or have a good place for sourcing, or something that if you are going to resell something or even be able to buy something wholesale, you kind of have to have that a little bit figured out before you jump in with both feet. A lot of people in our business seem to start because they have a house full of stuff.
Yep. Or they're downsizing, or they have a parent that's passed away, or
they're moving.
Yes. I mean, that's how I was interested in starting. Was I was going to be moving, and I was like, I have a lot of crap to get rid of, and it sure would be a shame to donate all this when I could probably make a buck or two.
It's not crap. It's stuff people want.
Well, yeah,
to
that
buy
depends on
and
which side of the
possess.
coin you are on. Yeah.
So a lot of people start that way, and for eBay or having a booth, and that's kind of a good idea, because if you are not sure what's going to sell, you don't want to say, well, this is what I plan on selling, and go buy a boatload of stuff.
Yep.
And then nobody wants it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of testing the waters by stuff you already have. You're not putting out additional money for.
Well, and it gives you what's the word I'm looking for? Practice. It gives you time to figure out what's working and what's not working.
The learning curve.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, there's so many things that go into this that you're not putting out more money. My brain has just stopped. I can't think of the words. I can't find the words I want. But you know what I'm saying. Yes, you pick a word and go with it. But yeah, it gives you practice.
Yeah.
Without sinking a lot of money into something, because you're going to get a feel for it then, and you're going to see what's selling and not.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people who come into this business have an idea of, this is what my booth is going to look like. This is what I'm going to sell. This is what I'm going to sell it for. This is how it's going to go.
Yep.
And if you have such a stringent, big full plan in your brain, you're not allowing for any of the variations of, things don't always turn out the way you think they are.
Or a lot of people say, well, I've researched it and I found out that this sells really, can make a lot of money on this. Well, I don't care how much money you can make if you're doing it day in and day out, and you could care less about that item. You get burned out real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that goes back to the first question. What do you love?
Yep.
I mean, I know that there is money in certain items when it comes to things that I buy, not necessarily for the booth, but for eBay.
Yeah.
But I could care less about those items. Yep. And to actually have me do the research would be such drudgery that it would lose all its fun.
It would be painful, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know what happens when there's something you have to do and you don't want to do it, you put it off. So that would end up happening too. It would become a death pile. It would be sitting there staring at you saying, list me, take me to your booth.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
No.
So, it's like anything else. If you have something you don't want to do, your natural instinct is to say, nah, I'll find something else I want to do instead.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if your business is based around things that you could probably make the money, but you don't like it, it's not going to be a whole lot of fun. And this is all about fun, we know.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, it has to be. I keep saying, with the podcast, my channel, reselling in general, it's got to stay fun because, I just so don't want to do something that I hate to do.
That's why you brought me on board, because I am FUN.
I didn't know we were going there for a minute. That's something too with us doing this together. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it is fun for us to, we have to go work. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, sourcing, that's important. Now think about, that's kind of, if you're new and you're starting out, what should I sell? If you already have a booth, how are your sales? Do you need to kind of maybe change up what you're doing? Are you happy with the money that you're making? If you're not, why is that? Is it the items that you're selling? Is it maybe current themes or things have changed where once you could, sell this, a particular item or a particular style all the time, now it's just kind of sitting?
Because things go out of style.
Yes. Or if you're the kind of person that likes to have really current, really really what's new, what's now kind of thing. Trending. We know how that can
fizzle real quick.
Fizzle, explode, go off a cliff.
That's right.
We totally know.
Stop, screeching halt.
And I tell you, I am not above riding a wave of current things that people want, because I'll tell you, I sold a lot of redneck wine glasses in my time.
Yes.
And I made a lot of money on those suckers too, until nobody wanted them.
Yep, because everything flooded the market.
Uh-huh. I mean, I was to the point where I was cutting out a piece of cardboard and putting a label on and I had it all down. I mean, I was whipping those things up. I was selling them for $8 a piece. So, it's fine to, jump on a trend, fidget spinners.
Yep. Oh.
So, I mean,
we never did those, and I didn't want to because I know that one's dying quick.
So, I mean, if there's a current trend and you want to hop on that and make some money, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, all you got to do, and I mean, Pinterest is a wonderful place to find out things like that. I mean, if you like to redo furniture, but you're kind of like, well, I just don't know, get on Pinterest and look up what's trending in furniture painting and DIY, because that's where you're going to find current colors. What's the next color that's coming in for fall or spring or whenever. Things like, for a while they're still kind of popular, dipping the legs of furniture into the gold or the silver.
To look like the old furniture where they had actually a piece of metal around the bottom.
So, I mean, even if you're not like me, I don't shop those high-end stores. But sometimes if you're around one, stop in and take a walk through. It gives you an idea.
You're going to have to come by my house because we have a Shishi Fufu Mall. They have a Crate and Barrel.
I've heard about that.
So we'll have to we'll have to dress up a little bit so we don't get kicked out.
I'm wearing my flip flops.
Shucker doodles, where's yours fit too?
And my crocheted beer hat. I'll have to leave it in the car.
So I mean, plus we have a Container Store I have yet to be in.
That sounds cool.
So
IKEA. Isn't there an IKEA moving in soon?
They're talking about it. There's one in Columbus. There's one in Columbus.
Yeah.
So, to keep up on that. And also, if you have a certain amount of items or you have items, you can even just go on Pinterest and type in canning jars. And there will be ideas for years on what to do with canning jars.
Yep.
So you can even, like I said, you just type in something. Boy, I got these canning jars. I have this particular item. What could I do with it? You'll be on there for what seems like 5 minutes, and it's hours later.
I love Pinterest. That's where I get a lot of ideas from.
Yeah, it's.
I can't come up with them on my own, but once I get them, then I can twist them around and make them my own.
You kind of tweak them a little bit.
Yeah, but it gets you going, so you know what are people looking for. Because the first things that are going to come up on your Pinterest search or your whatever search is what has come up the most for everybody else. So you're going to know what it is they're looking at.
Yeah, so you need to, kind of see what is trending as far as like redoing things, colors, or if you even type in burlap ribbon, oh my goodness, you'd probably get days of stuff on that too. So you got certain trends and things that are that are very popular now, and, you can put your own little spin on it. I've seen people, there was some in the thrift store, and they must have been used for some kind of wedding or gathering. There was a whole bunch of mason jars with the burlap ribbon and some, like, raffia or something tied around it, like it was a place setting or something. So, I mean, there's just so much you can do.
Might have been that wedding that I did the flowers for. Because that's what they kind of did in the center of each. Had a the slab of wood with the raw edges on it, and a thing in the center, and some fresh flowers in it.
Can you imagine having burlap at a wedding 20 years ago? People would have been writing you a check. Man, these people can't afford anything. I better give them some money.
Yeah, I had to use it. I made the whole wedding theme. All the bridal flowers and everything had burlap.
Yeah.
The flowers that I made for the men's boutonnieres had burlap. Everything burlap.
Yeah, could you imagine? I mean, seriously, that's...
What do you call that string? The sisal string, or... You know what I'm talking about. Twine. Twine and burlap. But they were gorgeous, of course, because I made them.
Of course.
Just absolutely wonderful.
But it's, like you said, trending, because things that we like are things that, I mean, we don't live in New York City. We don't know what's new, what's now. I mean, I kind of need to look around and figure it out myself. Mm-hmm. So that's something definitely that you could do. And a lot of things on Pinterest aren't even complicated. So you don't think, oh my goodness, it's all about redoing, high-end furniture or doing these big elaborate things. You can find just little crafty kind of things to do on there.
Just put DIY after whatever it is you're looking for, and you'll have pages to look through.
Yeah, so consider that. That's a way to keep up. So if you have a space and, you want to kind of freshen it up or do something different, that would be a good idea. If you have a booth that has a very, what's the words I'm looking for? A very narrow decorating style, a very narrow, what's the word I'm looking for? You're looking at me like you have no idea where I'm going.
No, I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm having a problem with words tonight, so.
Well, think about it. There's people, I know, some have a booth that's like, it's all
narrow
primitive. Theme. Yeah, primitive things. There are certain people who like primitive, but you're certainly going to chase out a lot of people if you have one particular type of item. If you have mainly women type items, if you have mainly guy type items, if you have, a decorating style that's extremely prevalent, that you'll only put or sell things that fit into that narrow scheme. I know you know who I'm thinking of. Very frilly, beautiful, beautiful booths.
Even at the other place.
But to buy, or is it, that looks really nice, and you keep walking. That isn't what we want. So if you have that type of selling strategy, maybe you kind of want to widen out. If you really know your stuff and you really like to sell a particular item, you can still widen out and get other items to sell. You're certainly going to, widen out the people who are coming into your booth.
We're not saying that you should do that, because there are some and they do okay. But if you're looking at this to make money, the more of a variety you have, the more sales you'll have, is I guess what we're trying to say. If you have you think about most of the people walking through there are mostly women. If you have a booth that's designed mostly towards men, geared towards men, and you're selling tools and guy kind of items,
fishing gear, mounted dead animals,
it's gonna narrow
signs.
because you have mostly women going through, so you're gonna narrow it down because most women don't care anything about that. So if you were to do that, if you had man cave items or other, mixed, so you're still kind of got it, but you've got a mix of other stuff in there, you're gonna have a better chance of selling things.
Yep, that's true. And like you said, there are people who do have a particular style, and they seem to do okay. But I think in my own personal experience, even if it's something I really love, I don't want to sell one type of item. I don't want to sell one particular color type of item. I don't want to, if I were out sourcing and I'm looking for stuff to sell in my booth or on eBay, I don't want to, if I said I'm only, like some people sell, I'm only going to sell, clothes, or I'm only going to, look at how much stuff you're going to pass up that you can make money on.
There's a lot of people, especially if you're researching online, there's a lot of people that swear by that. You have to narrow your niche, however you want to pronounce it. You have to narrow it. You have to have a specific. You have to have a store just for. And it can work, but I don't know. I don't want to make it work. That would be too boring to me. I'm eclectic in everything I do. I love to craft and sew, and I can knit and crochet and embroider, and so I'm eclectic. I'm not just I only sew, I only crochet, so I can't be that way in anything else in my life. I love the 60s furniture. I like the
mid-century.
I would love to have a kitchen that's back in like the 40s. A kitchen, well, of course, newer appliances, but look like
have
the
styling.
40s. I would love that. But so I'm so eclectic. I can't imagine just having one style in my booth. I would just.
And I think too, it always comes back to sourcing. I mean, if you have, I only sell this type of item, you could say, oh wow, I know what that is, and I know it can make some money. Oh, it's not going to fit in my space. It's not the right color. It doesn't go with the theme. It doesn't blend in. There's a lot of stuff.
I had that happen recently too, but that's beside the point.
I mean, you could be passing a lot of stuff up. You could be leaving money on the table because you want something to look a certain way. So, if that's something that works for you,
have at it, because there's a place for a lot of things, but it does kind of does narrow it down just a little bit more if you're willing to take that chance.
Yep, I think that's very true. So, it would be very, I think a lot of people when they ask on my channel or otherwise, well, what should I sell or what do you sell? You're people who ask me that, or a lot of times they're looking for, you should sell A, B, and C, and you'll be great.
You're good as gold.
You want that. You want me. Just tell me. No, I don't want to hear about the philosophy or the area I'm in. I just tell me. And we can't do that because
and that really does. You were saying just what I was thinking. It's also where you are.
Yep.
We know in one area that primitive stuff seems to do really, really good.
Yeah.
And then in the other place, it's just a fizzle.
Yep.
I've seen it. I've seen it come through the register once every couple of months for me. So it really depends on where you are. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, because the two places that we were in are in the same county. They're literally on the same county at the far ends of the county.
Yep.
And it is night and day. And even things that did sell in the old place that sell in the new place, they don't sell for the same price.
Oh yeah.
So it's a total different thing.
Yeah.
So you can imagine me telling someone in Kentucky you should absolutely sell this or that, or me telling someone in Florida, oh, you should definitely sell this and that.
Winter hats.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
you have, like anything, that you're endeavoring to make money in and to really, work hard at, you have to do the research. You have to figure out what's going to sell in your area. Yeah, because just like there's people also, what, you sell on eBay. Well, what should I sell on eBay? Well, that's a huge question. And it's like, no, I don't want to hear a long explanation. Just tell me what I should sell. Or you can watch, what I pick, what I resell. I could show you my hauls and all this other stuff. But if it's not something that's going to work in your area, then it's,
it's not going to work in your area.
Yeah, we do really good with fabric in our booth. Maybe somewhere else maybe you won't. It's very different. So that's why you have to really educate yourself and know about your area, what it's known for. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in getting into a mall space, go look around, see what other people are selling, see what prices they're asking, get a general feel for what's there. Not that you have to sell what they're selling, but you get an idea, things like furniture just fly out the door at where we're at now. People love furniture. And there's some pieces back there that I kind of just wonder. I'm like, what? But they sell. Mm-hmm. So they may sit there a little bit longer, but they eventually sell. So certain things people are always looking for. And you never know what people's taste is going to be. Yeah. So it's just one of those things that, furniture always does really well in our area. And, certain decorating things, people are always looking for, a way to freshen their home up. So, do your research. Don't expect any one person or any particular one way of doing things to be one size fits all, because it's certainly not that way.
Nope.
So, you have anything else to add?
I was thinking, but I think that kind of covers it.
So if you got all excited and thought, oh, great, let me get my pen out. They're going to tell me what to put in my booth. We hate to disappoint you, but
no,
it's something that you have to figure out.
Well, nothing in this life worth having, is given to you. You got to work for it. And if you want a business like this, you want to do something like this, you want to make money, you're going to have to put some work into it. And if it's not the physical labor of physically setting up the booth or physically shopping for the items, it is taking the responsibility to figure out what it is that's going to sell and what ain't going to sell, and how to stage it so that it will sell. Or it takes, this is not an easy job.
No.
And everybody's like, well, I could sell that. Oh, I could put that on Facebook group and sell it. Well, have at it, but that might be one or two pieces. But to do this as a regular job per se, like we do, you really have to put forth some effort to do it. It can be beneficial in the long run. It can be a great deal of fun. You learn a lot, but you have to put the work in.
Yeah, and even people who shop you regularly, they want to see something new too. And I've said this and I've thought it many times that, our booth, you can see our personality in our booth. You can look at it and you could just like, wow, look at this, and ooh, look at this. That's what we want in our space.
These people crazy.
Yeah, that's right too.
Yeah.
So, we want to keep things moving because people who like our style, they're not going to want to buy the same thing every time they come to us either. There are certain items that I could tell you right now that I would, if I went to a garage sale or I went to a thrift store and saw it every time I was there, I would buy it every time. Like bird clocks. I know everybody laughs at me for my bird clocks, but I sell them regularly. And things like that I'm always looking for. But as far as, decorative items, there are things you come across that look similar to something you've sold before. Oh, yeah, a while ago I sold that. But there's so much out there to find. Mm-hmm. There's so much stuff. This country is very wasteful, and it's great for our business for it to be that way, that you can go anywhere and just literally find stores, tons and tons of stuff to buy and resell. Mm-hmm. There's a never-ending supply of it.
Yep.
And, you got to go out there and, like you said, make the effort, find it, stage it, move it around, keep it fresh, keep it clean, keep it looking nice. It is a lot of work, but I definitely think that we've really gotten good at it.
I think so. Can you hear my elbows popping from me trying to pat myself on the back here? My joints are snapping.
Was that what you were doing? No, it's I don't know. It's funny because I know that everybody, no matter if you sell on eBay, a booth, anywhere, even big box stores have clearance racks, and they have things that don't sell, and you're gonna buy duds occasionally. But I think that as far as the amount of duds we've had to what we found that really works, I've been pretty good.
Well, the thing is, your duds are a learning curve. Your duds teach you things. Just like when you're a kid, you make a mistake. You learn from that. Hope you learn from that mistake. Yeah. So it's the same thing. It's not that it's necessarily a mistake. It's just that maybe at that particular time, in your place, particular area, it's just not going to work. So you know not to do that again.
Yeah. Or, it just might not be... you might just not have the right person come along and appreciate that.
Yeah, you have to let it sit for a while sometimes.
Yeah, or, move it around, because I know there's spaces in our booth that you just don't see as readily as others. Mm-hmm. And I know I had 2 pictures. I had them down on the floor, and they sat there for probably 3 weeks, but they were behind other things. I finally had the wall space, hung them up in a week, they were gone. So, it's just, sometimes I'll look at something and I'll say, I can't understand why somebody didn't buy this. It's so cute. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things. Mm-hmm. So you got to keep learning. And I think the more I learn in this business, the more I know that I don't know.
Yeah. Because it's
there's
changing.
So much to learn. And there's so many things, even if it is just about vintage or antique items, there is so much I will never learn. There are things that I don't care to learn. Mm-hmm. I'm not crazy about glassware. I know if something's cool or pretty or unusual. Yeah, but as far as picking up a plain thing that looks like it comes from the dollar store and it's, this is a so-and-so, it's worth this amount of money, I don't care. I don't care. What I know about glassware fits into a thimble pretty much. But
I like it. I like the older stuff. It catches my eye. I have no reason for it.
Yeah.
And in most cases, it's not a big seller, but I sure do like it.
Yeah, when it seems like certain things do go through certain trends, and something that is vintage, it's only going to get older as time goes on, but that doesn't mean that people are necessarily always going to want it either. So things have trends, even older things, like certain styles of furniture, the mid-century modern, or, you could look on Craigslist and find stuff that's mid-century modern that 10 years ago I would have found in a thrift store for $5. Now people want $200, $300, $400 for something, and you're like, holy cow! But if that's what's trending and that's what people want,
and I don't go by names on stuff. I just realize that certain things catch my eye, and I go, that's kind of neat. And over the last year or so, that's what I realized, that my eye tends to go to mid-century. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So other people want it because that's what's trending. I just like it.
Yeah, and if you like it, it's going to last a lot longer because you're going to like it for what it is, not because, well, this isn't in style anymore.
The only bad thing is mid-century modern mostly has these little tiny spindly legs, and they don't work so good for us.
What are you saying?
Big boned people, We're not exactly a small family.
No, there's no ballerinas among us, I'll tell you. So, it's a learning curve. You got to keep, like anything else, you got to keep learning, keep figuring it out, and that's the way you're going to have success.
Yep.
So we hope you enjoyed our podcast this week. Please give this podcast a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have a question, or you can email me, jen@pudgypicker.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram under The Pudgy Picker. Subscribe if you haven't already. We love all of our new and old subscribers.
Love you, love you.
Love you. So that's all. We will see you next time. And that's it.
That's it.
Bye.
Bye.